Hello world, it's me again. It's the Don, the Senator, smooth and rude, the czar style, coming to you live from the 804, the 75Y, cause we global, baby. Yeah. This is the Mansion in the Sky podcast where we build the lamb while we drive it. Every day we strive to become envious, which is unconquerable and influential in every single area of your life. Our focus here at the mansion is to learn lessons from current events, either global or local, and apply it while staying in the mix about technology, health, and everything in between in a cold, calculated, and ever so changing world. So, lighters, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, today, what we talking about? We talking about a whole lot of things today. Of course, we have the word of the day. Then after that, then we have a North Little Rock woman says box containing stillborn son's belongings was stolen from her home. It's gonna be interesting. After that, then we're gonna talk about a man who the FBI found had 150 handmade explosives at his Virginia home, and he was denied bond. And then we're gonna do a deep dive. Hold on, y'all. And then we're gonna do a deep dive on homemade bombs, IEDs. Of course, obviously, you should not go and find these items and produce a IED. Of course, you shouldn't do it. It's illegal. Don't do it. But we're going to talk about, let's say you're over a friend's house, you're over your girlfriend's house, you're over your boyfriend's house, and you see some of these items here and something that I'm going to give you and provide you with a way to identify. I need to call somebody. I'm going to provide you with who to call, what to do, because I might be in that situation. I might need to call somebody. So I need to know myself. And that's what we do over here at the Mansion in the Sky. And then we're going to finish it up with, and I know most of these articles and these issues and these topics occurred weeks ago, but that's okay because that's what we do. We can do that over here. But we're going to talk about Meta and how they are getting rid of the fact checkers, and Zuckerberg is basically acknowledging that more harmful content will appear on the platforms as a result of fact checkers being eliminated. So first thing that we're going to get into is going to be the word of the day, which is
Divers.
divers. Divers. It's an adjective. It means numbering more than one. Used in context or in a sentence. The Tri-County Fair offers divers amusements for the whole family. Well, divers in context. These prizes reflect the diversity of this year's edition. NIF, not, y'all know I butcher everything. Neuchâtel International Fantastic Film Festival. Artistic director Pierre Yves Walder tells Variety, our festival showcases the fantastic in all its forms, promoting diverse styles, points of view, themes, and aesthetics. And I think these winners really show us much, really show as much. Now, did you know? Divers is not a misspelling of diverse. It is a word in its own right. Both adjectives, come from Latin diversi, diverse, meaning turning in opposite directions. Both historically coming to be pronounced as either Diverse, like the plural of the noun diver, or diverse. I guess I'm saying that right. Divers, now pronounced more frequently as diverse. Yeah, I need some help pronouncing these words, but that's okay because we're going to get through it. It's typically used before a plural noun to indicate an unspecified quantity. And like Anton Daniels say, hey, I am a career C student, but I'm going to get through it because that's what we do. And that's the word of the day, divers. All right, let's go. Before we go into the topics, we're going to talk about, we're going to go into the isms, Don isms. And today's Don ism is you have to kill the old you in order to experience the new you. Why do I say that? Because in order, it's just like when you go to buy some furniture for your house. What do you have to do in order for you to be able to get that furniture in the house? For example, if it's a couch, what do you have to do if you just purchased a new couch, but you already have an old couch in there? You have to move that old couch, remove the old couch from your place, take it outside, put it on the curb, and let the garbage people or yourself put it in the back of a pickup truck if it's a small couch. If it's a large couch, get some movers. I forget the moving crew that came and got my old couch out of my old apartment. Get a moving crew or put it in a U-Haul and get it up out of there. Move it, remove it. In order for your new furniture to take its rightful place, you have to kill the old you in order for the new you to step in its rightful place. It's the only way to do it. There is no other way. You can't stack the new you on top of the old you. It doesn't work like that. You have to become something entirely different in order for you to make moves into the life that you deserve, that you want, and that you desire. But the only way that you could do that is to get rid of the old you. Getting rid of the old you means you have to be around different people. You have to be around people who you have to not only be around, but you got to listen to, take advice from, watch, observe. People, places, things, ideas that you want to be like, that you want to have, that you desire. You can't be the same person staying in the same places, staying in the same comfort zone. You can't be the same person. It doesn't work like that. Out with the old, in with the new. You have to kill the old you in order to get to the new you. You got to kill that bitch inside of you in order to become the king, in order to become the queen. You have to kill the old you, in order to get to the new you. There is no other way. There is no other way. You have to be 100% transparent with yourself. You have to sit back and say, all right, Why the why are the things that I want not happening? Why do I have no motion? Why is my money not staying around me? Why am I not attracting money? Why am I not attracting the woman or men that I want? Why are my ideas not coming into fruition? Why does it feel like my dreams are unattainable? Once you ask those questions, you have to ask realistic questions. Forget all this bubblegum stuff. You got to ask real, authentic, self exposing questions. You have to be 100% transparent with yourself. Why am I a piece of filth? Why? Why is it not working? But once you ask those questions, then you got to answer the questions. I'm a piece of filth because A, B, C through X, Y, Z. And accept it. Then, once you accept it, then you got to set up a plan to correct it. If you don't, you're going to stay a piece of filth. You're going to be a piece of filth. You're going to attract pieces of filth. And you're going to live a filthy existence. And that's just what it is. But you have to kill the old you in order to get to the new you. I'm not talking about unaliving yourself. No. We're not doing that. Now, I'm not going to bad talk people who have unalived themselves. But I'm going to add my 2 cents to it. To all the people who invested in you. To all the people that cared about you. To all the people who contributed to the corporation of you. How disrespectful. How disrespectful to give up. Now, you could say I'm insensitive, and I take that. But still, to 1, unalive yourself, and 2, not even try to fulfill the potential that you have. Now, I understand. Also, too, to get off and get away from unaliving, I understand that we need burger makers, fry droppers, ice droppers, and drinks. If you're in the Midwest, they call it pop. If you're on the East Coast, West Coast, they call it soda. But I like my soda light ice. And I understand that we need those people who are going to be in the drive-thru. Hello, Mr. Don. How may I take your order? You look good today. We like that part. Oh, we see you got a headline on today and you lined up and you smelling good like that Fahrenheit. Or that Dolce & Gabbana the one. I understand. But if that's not you, and that's not what you want to do, and that's not the existence that you want to exist in, and that's not the life you want to live, and you don't want to come home smelling like McDonald's grease, you don't want to come home with a bag of, I ain't going to say 3-hour old, but 45-minute old fries, when you know you could do better, you got to kill the old you so the new you could step in. And that's the isms. Don isms. isms, the isms, the Don isms, the isms, the isms, the Don isms. All right, North Little Rock woman says a box containing stillborn son's belongings was stolen from her home. Let's go in. If it'll let me
Now
go
at
in.
6:30, a woman in North Little Rock came home from a vacation on Saturday to find out she had
Oops.
been the victim of a burglary.
Yeah, one item stolen was priceless. A small box holding the precious memory she had of her stillborn baby.
Catherine Thornberry joins us after talking with this woman. Catherine, do police know who did this?
North Little Rock police say there's still no person of interest, and the woman tells me that's the frustrating part. There was no monetary value. In fact, to her, the box was priceless. A woman in North Little Rock starting her new year off with a devastating discovery.
As soon as I saw it is when I called the cops.
On January 4th, Solon Watson returned home from a 4-day vacation to her front door wide open. According to a police report, just under $5,000 worth of possessions in the home, all gone. But the biggest loss.
See, this right here. This is why I work the way that I work. I do the things that I do. I move the way that I move because it can't be me. It can't be me. Like once you decide that you want better and you want better things and you want to enjoy your life and not have to worry about people stealing from you, taking from you, when you put in the work, when you were disciplined, when you went to the gym every day, when you paid your bills on time every day, when you put your money up and you made your money work for you and you employed people and you went and got educated and put in 2 years and got your certification or got your degree from junior college or community college or wherever you went to, and you came up and you got your place to live and you got a nice cozy house and you got all your animals and stuff like that and they're all eating good too, dry food, wet food, all of that, and you got clean water in your house and everything in your house works perfectly fine except for the few maintenance things that you have to do, and then you got to come home to this? Nah, absolutely not. Gated community. Gated community. Gated community. I don't care. Gated community. I need security. I'm good off this. You're not walking up in my establishment. Well, in my domain, in my throne, in my palace, and leaving my front door wide open. Nope, I work too hard. I've been too patient. I've been too diligent. I've been too resilient. I've been too fortunate and I've been too bold for somebody to walk up in my domain and come steal from me and leave my front door wide open like that.
A small box with no monetary value.
I had my stillborn son's belongings and stuff. Like it had the outfit from when he was in the hospital, and it had his footprints, had some of his medical records, pictures of me, him, and all that was gone.
She says the expected due date was January 5th of 2020, making this time of year even harder without the tangible memories to hold on to.
That due date is still very important and heartbreaking to me because obviously that was a day that my baby should have been in my arms.
An empty shelf that once held those memories, motivating Watson to keep looking.
Like if nothing else is...
Now, I can understand why she has sentimental value to the belongings of the stillborn. She carried that child almost 9 months. That child became a part of her, whether you believe Well, it's not alive, or whether you believe it's alive. For this conversation's sake, we just gonna say child. And she became attached to it. So you can understand. Some people may say, you know what? Forget that. Child's gone. It's not here. Let it go. Most people may say, hey, she's got a point there. But at the same time, same token, can't come up in my house and steal from me like that. We're going to have to find you. We're going to have to find you, and we're going to have to not only recoup what you took from us, but then also add interest onto what you took with court fines and jail time.
Given back to me, I won't care. That specific box means the world to me.
And according to that police report, some other items stolen were TVs, gaming consoles, a laptop, and more. Reporting from the studio, I'm Catherine Thornberry, Fox 16.
Get a life. Get a life and get some business about yourself. You got to kill the old you in order for the new you to come in. That made no sense, man. I mean, it makes sense. We always, since the beginning of time, it's been thievery. Whether it's been knowledge, information, people, places, things, ideas, it's going to be thievery. It's going to be usury. I understand that. I get that to the umpteenth power. I understand. But still, I want my own. I don't want another man's. I don't want another man's. I don't want another man's. I want my own. I know I can go and obtain and achieve and earn my own. I'm not going to go up in somebody else's stuff and steal from them. Especially since I've gotten to this point where I understand the amount of time that it costs and it takes in order to get your own. So with that being said, see, I know about miscarriages and things of that nature, and I've had one or two women that I've dealt with in the past. Thank you, God. But not thank you, God. They had some miscarriages, and I wasn't really sure what a stillbirth was. So I figured, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do my research and see exactly what a stillbirth is and give a little context to what it is and understand it a little bit better. So stillbirths. A stillbirth happens when the fetus dies after week 20 of pregnancy. So it makes sense why this lady, Miss Watson, was feeling the way that she was feeling about this stillbirth. She was prepared. She was attached. That was a part of her. Stillbirths can have multiple causes, including problems with the placenta or umbilical cord, genetic conditions that affect the fetus, or pregnancy complications. There are resources available to support you through your pregnancy loss. So we just read about that. Many people imagine a stillbirth as a single moment when a baby's born with no heartbeat. But most stillbirths happen in the uterus. Although it happens, the fetus rarely dies during labor. In most cases, providers diagnose the loss beforehand and take steps to intervene well before the due date. And I guess I can go ahead and put this full screen too while I'm reading it. The fetus rarely dies during. Oh, yeah, I just read that. A stillbirth is a jarring pregnancy loss similar to a miscarriage. Stillbirths involve fetal death after week 20, while miscarriage involves the fetus passing away before week 20. So that's the correlation right there. That's the difference right there. Is a stillbirth happens after week 20 and a miscarriage happens anywhere before week 20 of the pregnancy. So, once again, stillbirth is any loss or fetal death after week 20, while miscarriages involving the fetus passing away are before week 20. And it's still traumatizing, and it definitely requires a lot of time and strong support for these women to get over. Now, what are the types of stillbirths? You have an early stillbirth where the fetus dies between 20 and 27 weeks. A late stillbirth, the fetus dies between 28 and 36 weeks. And then a term stillbirth, the fetus dies the 37th week or after. How common are these stillbirths? Developing countries have as many as 22 stillbirths out of every 1,000 births. The rate is much lower in developed countries. For example, the U.S. has approximately 6 stillbirths for every 1,000 birth. In the UK, there are about 3.5 stillbirths for every 1,000. Now, improved prenatal care has reduced the rates of stillbirths worldwide, but that doesn't reduce it 100%. So who's at risk of having a stillbirth? A stillbirth can happen during any pregnancy, but health, lifestyle, and environment all shape the risk associated with the pregnancy loss. Age. Stillbirth rates are higher for teenagers and people 35 or older. Health conditions. Hold on, y'all. Health conditions. Having certain health conditions can increase your risk. These include diabetes, high blood pressure, blood clotting disorders, thyroid disorders, lupus, and obesity. Type of pregnancies. People pregnant with multiples, as in twins or more, twins, triplets, quadruplets, cinco, sextuplets. I don't know how to say that. Sextuplets, yeah, are at increased risk. Previous pregnancy complications. There's a slightly higher risk of stillbirth if you've experienced a previous stillbirth or other pregnancy complications like preterm birth. Substance abuse. That's obvious. Using drugs, smoking, drinking, having cocktails of drugs, Xanax, Percocets, Adderall, all of those in between. Stress. Definitely stress. Let me go ahead and turn this down. Financial strain, relationship problems can increase your risk. And also stress, obviously causing people to steal clothes from a stillborn. You should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Stealing clothes from an unborn baby. Why would you do that? I know you was raised better than that. Obviously not. You gonna steal the baby's shoes, the baby's onesies, the baby's pacifier that he never used, she never used, the binky, the the drool cloth. You gonna steal from? Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. But I understand. Y'all stressed because he ain't got no money. But we human, we all get stressed. Just don't steal from me. Because I don't know how I'm going to act if you steal from me. Environment and resource access. You're at greater risk of stillbirth if you live in a country or environment with limited access to prenatal care. Going back to what we were saying earlier, factors like race play a role too. In the U.S., people who are black, AAs, experience stillbirths twice as often as people who are white. Racism creates barriers to health and well-being in all its forms. The consequences can trickle down and affect every aspect of health, including pregnancy. All right, symptoms and causes. 1 in 3 stillbirths, healthcare providers don't know why the fetus passed. Causes can be complex. Issues primarily affecting the mother, gestational parent, the fetus, or the tissues and organs connecting them can all lead to stillbirth. Infections from a virus, parasite, bacterial, or another pathogen causes up to 50% of stillbirths in developing countries. They cause up to 25% of stillbirths in developed countries. Sometimes the infection doesn't cause symptoms, so you don't know if there's an issue until a pregnancy complication happens. Problems with the placenta or umbilical cord. The placenta is an organ that allows you to share nutrients, allows the mother. We don't know if men can give birth to children. I mean, there are some people with the last name Jackson who don't know or can't define what a woman is. So therefore, I'm going to say, I don't know if men can give birth. Just throwing it out there. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. I know for a fact I'm not giving birth to anything. I'm not giving birth to anything. So therefore, I don't have a placenta that can share nutrients with the fetus through an umbilical cord. A problem with these lifelines can prevent the fetus from receiving the oxygen, blood, and nutrients needed to thrive. Placental abruption is when the placenta separates from the uterus. It's responsible for 10 to 20% of all stillbirths. A twisted umbilical cord can lead to a stillbirth if it prevents the fetus from getting enough oxygen. All right, conditions affecting the fetus. Sometimes the fetus develops. There's an issue with how the fetus develops, or a congenital disability, birth defect. Should have just said birth defect. The fetus may have a genetic condition. Genes contain the instructions that tell the fetus body how to grow and work. Errors in these instructions can prevent the fetus organs from growing and working properly. The fetus may not get the nutrition it needs to grow at a healthy rate. This is called intrauterine growth restriction, and it's a common cause of stillbirths. Excuse me. Once again, pregnancy complications. You're more likely to experience problems during pregnancy if you have a chronic health condition. And also, my fault, my bad, This article comes from my.clevelandclinic.org, and it was written by, it doesn't have the name up here who wrote it. It does not have the name up here of who wrote it. Now, pregnancy complications. If you have a chronic health condition like diabetes, lupus, high blood pressure, obesity, or a blood clotting disorder, this can complicate your pregnancy. Still, having a chronic condition does not mean that your pregnancy will be complicated. Now, a couple of the complications by name, I know at least two of these I'm going to torture, but I'm going to do the best I can. Preeclampsia, which is high blood pressure that starts during the second half of pregnancy. Cholestasis of pregnancy, a form of liver disease that develops late in pregnancy. Premature birth, when a baby is born prematurely before 37 weeks of pregnancy. And then PPROM, preterm premature rupture of membranes, when the fluid-filled protective sac surrounding the fetus breaks too early. What are the symptoms of stillbirth? The only warning sign of stillbirth is noticing the fetus isn't as active as it used to be. Some people experience cramps and vaginal bleeding. These symptoms don't always mean a stillbirth, but you should see a provider immediately if you notice these changes. And this all just gives you a better idea and perspective. At least I have a better perspective on what a stillbirth is, what causes a stillbirth. Yeah, we could go into, diagnoses and tests, and what kind of tests will be up here, and when should I choose to have a fetal autopsy, and management and treatment, and what happens after the fetus passes away. If you want to have kids, if you want to continue to have kids, if you want to know what caused that, then the place that you go, you can ask those questions. You can do your research just like I've done my research as well. Let's see. And this is pretty much, the rest of the article is pretty much just reiterating what was said uh, at the beginning of the article. But this is just an overview of what stillbirths are. And it also gives us the difference between a miscarriage and a stillbirth. A miscarriage is a fetus passing away before 20 weeks. Was it 20 weeks? It was 20. It was 20 weeks. Yep. And then, no, excuse me. Stillbirth are fetuses passing away after week 20. And a miscarriage is a fetus passing away before week 20. All right. Moving along to Virginia, where I'm from. Coming where I'm from. Man who FBI found with 150 homemade explosives at Virginia home denied bond, as he should have been. As he should have been. Let's go.
We have new information on what the FBI calls a historic discovery in Isle of Wight County. We have new information on what the FBI calls a historic discovery in Isle of Wight County. It comes after finding what prosecutors describe as the largest collection of homemade explosives in Bureau history.
Court documents show Brad Spafford was denied bond yesterday. 10 on your side's Deja Parker joins us live in the control room with the latest update on this investigation. Deja, good morning.
Good morning. We're talking about a 2-year-long investigation that uncovered more than 150 explosive devices on Spafford's property. That discovery is one of several reasons why bond was denied. The prosecution states that they were worried about Spafford's access to weapons.
Hold on. I want to look up actual pictures of like what kind of creativity could go into possibly making one of these IEDs, as in far as like what it may look like. Because I've never seen them before. Of course, you've seen movies and things like that, but to have 150 in your house where you live, they can't be that big. So you got them looking like this right here. That's a phone and a Coke bottle with a 8-volt battery on it and some wire and some electrical tape. And I don't even know what that white stuff is in there. Like, this is crazy. Like, how can you even identify? Because this is what you, hold up. This is what you see in the movies mostly right here. This is what you're going to see in the movies. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, if you see this right here, you're going to be like, no, sir. This don't even make any sense. Why is this here? What reason is this here? Set up like this? Who did this? Who put in this kind of time? And it looked like it didn't take any time. What the Hold up. Who did that? Who made the time to do this? Don't you work 10 hours a day? This what you do in your off time? Who did this? You mean to tell, what kind of bottle is that? I gotta keep looking over here because my speaker wants to act up. Hold up, y'all. This what you do in your free time right here? You feel that's a red top right there. So that's a Coke. That's a Coke. Coca-Cola right there. Then this white stuff. Is this milk? Obviously, this not milk. But what is this white substance? This white, milky, cloudy substance in here. With this old Nokia phone and a 8-volt battery with duct tape to this Coca-Cola bottle with a wire attached to it, going all the way up the side, through the cap, either through the cap or the cap screwed on with the wire. We're going to say through the cap. Attached, connected with electrical tape. at the top. Where they do that at? Well, we're going to find out here in a little bit where they do that at. And this got the same thing going on over here. You got this cell phone over here. And we're not going to go too deep into this because I don't need the FBI catching feelings. I don't need the CIA catching feelings because we're just covering a story and then doing research on it. So you're not going to find any of these items or chemicals in my house. And if they here, I got set up. I'm going to just let you know that right now because I'm not making time to do this. I'm not making the time to do this. I'm not doing anything with this. This serves no purpose. Number one, I'm not built for the jail time. I'm not going to jail behind something like behind arts and crafts. I'm not going to jail behind arts and crafts. I'm not built for that time. And you're going to see, once I get back to the story, how much time this guy potentially can get. But I was just curious to see what it actually looks like.
Weapons and the danger that poses. That emphasized the new charges for the bombs found on the property, saying each charge carries the potential of a 10-year prison sentence.
Okay.
The affidavit said after losing his fingers making the bombs, Spafford made the decision to keep explosive materials in a home freezer accessible to the entire family. Spafford's attorney argued
Hidden in plain
that he
sight.
did not pose a threat to anyone, describing him as a hard-working family man with no criminal record. The U.S. District Judge said the prosecution showed clear and convincing evidence. Judge Aranda Wright Allen says Spafford's release on any condition would create a danger to other people and the community. FBI analysis concluded that the devices had metal spheres, which could cause property damage, personal injury, or even death. The noise residents were hearing in the area were the pipe bombs. Now, Brad Spafford will remain in jail following this federal court order made on Tuesday. I'm Deja Parker, 10 on your side.
So this is very intriguing. And first of all, before I even go into what an IED is, what I'm drinking there is that tea. Cause you talk when you're making a living talking, your throat gets scratchy and parched, and that's that throat coat tea right there. Pause. With the cayenne pepper to get that blood circulating, mixed with the honey and some lemon slices in there. Does the job. All right, IEDs. IED awareness, understanding the IED threat. What is an IED? Improvised Explosive Devices, more commonly referred to as homemade bombs. And I'll put it back on full. These bombs have remained a persistent threat throughout history. The weapon of choice for many terrorists, criminals, vandals, violent extremists, suicide bombers, and insurgents. The use of these IEDs dates back to the invention of explosives themselves. IEDs are easy to make. I would not suggest you to make them because you might lose a finger, like my guy from Virginia Beach who made 150 of them and he's not getting out of jail. He's not going home. They're difficult to combat. One of them just might try to combat you in the process of making them. So I would not suggest you try it. Do not try it. And I know a lot of you are hard-headed. When someone tells you don't do something, you want to go do it anyway because you just have a primal instinct to rebel against when people tell you no. Don't do this. And also, these IEDs can cause significant harm and disruption. Bombings using IEDs are a common security concern related to terrorism and violence. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that. In the United States, high-profile domestic and international incidents are frequently in the news. Globally, the use of IEDs has trended upward in frequency and magnitude since 9/11, and the threat posed to American interests over the coming decade will likely remain high. Terrorists and criminals will continue to use these weapons in a variety of ways, ranging from bomb threats and hoax devices to mass casualty attacks and sophisticated operations. It's a trip, man. It's a trip. So, recognizing these IEDs, like already stated, an IED is a device placed or fabricated in an improvised manner incorporating destructive, lethal, noxious, pyrotechnic, or incendiary chemicals and designed to destroy, incapacitate, harass, or distract. These IEDs can be carried or delivered by a weapon or person, placed or projected, mailed or delivered in a package or letter, or concealed as inconspicuous items. The design and production of these IEDs is only limited by the knowledge and skills of the bomber and the availability of materials to construct these devices. There is no way to really be able to identify, or I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is there's not one way to identify these IEDs, because there's so many ways that they can be manufactured. They can be, just like I showed you, it can be manufactured from a Coke bottle, a Nokia phone, a 8-volt battery, some wire, some lint, some shoelaces, all tied together. And they can be small, they can be big. Now, these IEDs do consist of various components and parts. So they include an initiator, a switch, main charge, power source, and a container. Now, they may also include additional materials or enhancements, such as nails, glass, ball bearings, or other metal portions designed to increase the effects of shrapnel propelled by the explosion. Although it's less common and it's a less common enhancement, but it may also include toxic, radiological, or chemical elements considered to be hazardous materials. And the design and purpose of these IEDs solely depends on the intended use of the device and the target. Now, not going to talk about that. And I don't think I need to really go that far into it. I think this is fine enough right here. Now, reacting to these IEDs, I don't even know how you would do that, but nonetheless, we're going to try and tackle this. IEDs are not always rendered safe, and explosions can occur. Now, the effects of a bombing event can include thermal, blast pressure, and fragmentation. Understanding how to react to these effects. Hold on. My light went off. Or it might have died. Yep, she died. That's all good. Now, understanding how to react to these situations is critical and crucial. So, just in case any of us just so happens to be in an area, because, see, like me, myself, I'm a free agent. I'm part of the free agent coalition. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. I'm part of the free agent coalition. Or if you want to say passport bro. Even though I've been a passport bro before the passport bro movement was as big as it was online. I've been traveling and moving and shaking since what? 2016. I've been doing my thing before the passport bros became what it is. If you want to say perverted, I think the movement's been perverted, diluted, weighed down by decomposing dead weight. Bad representations of what a passport bro is. Going to these places, being pieces of filth, and being just a bad representation of a movement that I believe was originally marketed to inspire brothers and women, even though it's called Passport Bros, but men and women to figure out what you need to do to get your affairs in order and go see the world, because America is not the only place on the globe. And go see some things and go experience other cultures. Go experience different foods. Go experience art. Go on excursions. Go on helicopter rides. Go put your feet in the sand and in the water. Go see some red sand beaches. Go see some mountains and some mountaintops. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, not to get too far away from what we're talking about. So, if you're out here and you're part of the free agent coalition, or if you're passport broing or passport cis, and you're out here and you're going to these different places in these different countries, and something may happen along the lines of something that was caused by an IED or something like this may be able to help you out. Assess the situation. It can take a minute to get orientated after an explosion. So make sure you scan the area for other threats. Because just like I stated earlier, bombs, IEDs can be used as a distraction. So, bomb may be thrown, or bomb may be placed over here to have everybody look this way. And then, real threat, or threat that placed distraction here, comes in rat-tat-tat-tat, everybody, and then mission complete for bad guys. Or at least in their mind, they think they good guys. Or maybe in their mind, they think they anti-heroes. Anyways, Excessive situation may take a minute to get orientated and get your senses back after an explosion. Scan the area for other threats, including an active shooter or more bombs. Bombs are often used as part of a more complex attack. There you have it. Locate the source of the blast. This can help you recognize the destruction around it and get away from any buildings or structures that were damaged or might collapse. Ideally, you would evacuate away from the blast location toward a safer area, but that might not be possible if you are injured or physically unable, or if the blast has made the area structurally unstable. If there are limited paths to exit from the blast site, you might be safer to remain or shelter in place and wait for help to arrive. So whether you stay or leave, take action. Now, if you looking at the pictures that I already showed to you, explaining and describing what an improvised, so I gotta look again. Improvised explosive device is, you might stumble upon one. I hope, I pray that the Most High, the Grand Architect, has favor over you, and that you should never, ever, as long as you live, as long as you have breath in your body, ever discover and uncover an improvised explosive device. But if you just so happen to, with an initiator, a switch, main charge, power source, then you need to report it right away. Early detection can lead to prevention of a incident of catastrophic proportions. So make sure you call 911. Let me repeat that. If you find something suspicious, make sure you call 911. Not 411. Not star 69. Not your mama. Not your daddy. Make sure you call 911 and report it immediately. Immediately. Don't play. Do not play. Because you may have stopped a terrorist threat, some type of criminals, vandals, violent extremists, suicide bombers, or unaliver bombers, however you want to say that, and insurgents. Hopefully, this educated everybody on IEDs. This was the Improvised Explosive Device one-on-one course with the Senator Smooth and Rude. Bizarre style. Now, last topic that we're going to roll into. Oh, Marky Z. Marky Z. Getting rid of fact checkers. In the age of not only information, but also in the age of disinformation. Because just like the isms that we spoke about earlier in the episode, how you have to kill the old you in order for the new you to come in, there are no excuses. There are no excuses. There are no excuses. Why? Because you and I and you, your mama, your daddy, and they friends too, live in an age of information. Anything that you want to know, all you got to do is go to your iPhone. Me, I use Android. Search it up. Make sure it's the correct information and handle your business and do the work and watch how whatever it is that you want comes into your possession just like that. But it takes time. Now, what our guy here, Marky Z, is going to be talking about is not only are they getting rid of fact checkers, but as a result of these fact checkers getting up out of Dodge, more harmful content will appear on the platform now. Let's check them out. And mind you, I already know that this article came out weeks ago. Don't care.
There's a beast in the financial.
Oh yeah? That's what we doing? We just running ads? That's what we doing? We running ads? I don't want that. I'm not buying from y'all. All right.
And also making major changes to what content is allowed. This is just the latest move as Facebook's parent company Meta and founder Mark Zuckerberg work to very publicly win favor with Donald Trump.
The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US.
Wow. Getting rid of fact checkers. And Claire Duffy, you can see her right here, is here with us now. So what's going on here?
Yeah, John, this is a major reversal. Let's not forget that the reason that Facebook and Meta introduced this third-party fact-checking system in the first place was because it was accused of allowing foreign actors to spread disinformation and discord around American political elections. Now the company is saying it is getting rid of those third-party fact-checkers and will introduce this system called Community Notes, which is something that Elon Musk has also rolled out on X. It lets users
I gotta stop this. I gotta stop this because so many of the content creators that I listen to, and I want to come up with a new name for content creators because it just sounds so generic now. Just like how, at least when I was growing up, I'm a little older, but I don't look it. I look like I'm in my early 20s, and I'll take that and I'm going to take it to the bank. But I'm just saying, I want to change the name of content creators. But going back to this, a lot of those people that I listen to have been affected by this. They were moving along. They were strong-arming the game. And then as a result of tactics like this, political tactics, if you will, they had to charge their losses to the game. Their money got messed up because of this, or because of tactics like this. And now, you're doing a pivot. It's a filthy game. It's a filthy game. It's a filthy game. And I wholeheartedly feel for the content creators, which I'm going to come up with a new name for content creators. They call them influencers, but I like the name influencers, but we can come up with another name besides influencers and content creators because it's just so generic. But these are people that I've looked up to and I've watched for so long and I've learned so much from them, have been affected by dirty workings. And now you pivot. At the end of the day, though, I understand that you got to do what you have to do. So I'm not enraged. I'm not outraged. But I'm just saying, for anybody that's listening to me right now, take note of how things can move and they can change and they can shift, and companies and people can make pivots just like that. Just like that. Because it's just like that. It is what it is.
User-generated context labels to posts, but you're relying on users to do that and to bring in the information. This was announced on Fox and Friends by Joel Kaplan, who's one of the company's top Republicans just last week. We talked about he was elevated to the company's top policy job. Here's how he described the system.
And so somebody can write a note, and then the way it works is different people on the platform can sort of vote on that note. And if you get people who usually disagree, who all say, yeah, that sounds right, then that note gets put on the post and people see it. X has been doing it for a while. We think it's working really well, and we're going to adopt that system. So
Meta also is announcing a number of other changes to its moderation practices. It's going to scale back some of the automatic filters that catch bad content. It says it will keep that for things like terrorism, child sexual exploitation, but for lower severity violations, it's going to ask users to report those before it evaluates them. Company is also moving one of its key safety teams from California.
Go back. I missed that.
Last week, we talked about he was elevated to the company's top policy job. Here's how he described the system.
And so somebody can write a note, and then the way it works is different people on the platform can sort of vote on that note. And if you get people who usually disagree, who all say, yeah, that sounds right, then that note gets put on the post and people see it.
I kind of want to deviate a little bit away from what I had originally planned, because I want to look into this. I want to look into the First Amendment, Bill of Rights. If you don't know what the Bill of Rights are, shame on you. It's 10 of those. And you know what? I think that's going to be the next show. I think the next show is going to be about the Bill of Rights. Did I save this? I did save this. I saved this. When I saved this? This in my bookmarks? When I put this in my bookmarks? How long ago? Ain't no way this in my bookmarks. I guess it is. Because the Bill of Rights is in my bookmarks because you need to bookmark this in your brain. And that piece of filth floating between your ears and your skull that you, I guess you call the brain. That meaty substance in your cranium that you think's a brain, you need to bookmark this, especially if you live in America. You need to know this right here. Like, I plead the fifth. I'm not self-incriminating myself. Or the Second Amendment. Skitty pop. Anyways. All right, First Amendment. Let's go. The First Amendment. I wish I could read it like on the original scroll tablet that it was written on by the original founding fathers of this great nation. The First Amendment guarantees freedoms concerning religion, expression, assembly, and the right to petition. It forbids Congress from both promoting one religion over others and also restricting. So it forbids Congress from restricting an individual's religious practices. It guarantees freedom of expression by prohibiting Congress from restricting the press, or the rights of individuals to speak freely. It also guarantees the right of citizens to assemble peacefully and to petition their government. Congress, communists, Condoleezza, or condoms, Trojan. Anyways, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And then these are just a whole bunch of clauses and other things here, but clearly, one, this is brought to you by law.cornell.edu via the website, via Cornell Law School, via the United States Constitution, via the Bill of Rights, which is the first 10 amendments in the U.S. Constitution. But you knew that already. But I'm just repeating it for myself, not for you. So, with that being said, why y'all playing? Why you always lying? Why you always lying? Why you always lying? Why y'all playing in our face, man? I mean, as much as I want to understand, I get it. It's your platform. You can do what you want to do. But if these are American created companies and we're all abiding by the Bill of Rights, U.S. Constitution, law-abiding people make companies, companies don't make people make the companies. Why are you doing us like this? Why are you playing in our face like that? But I get it. It's your platform. It's your platform. It's your platform. You could do what you want to do. You could do what you want to do when you want to do it. But just know, for every action, it's an equal reaction. Energy's neither created nor destroyed, just transfer from one party to another. And I don't like Meta like that anyways, but I'll use it and I won't slander you. But I'm just saying, we're covering this issue. Not even an issue. We're covering this topic to gain more clarity and to be informed on what's going down. Let's continue.
X has been doing it for a while. We think it's working really well, and we're going to adopt that system. So,
Meta also is announcing a number of other changes to its moderation practices. It's going to scale back some of the automatic filters that catch bad content. It says it will keep that for things like terrorism, child sexual exploitation, but for lower severity violations, it's going to ask users to report those before it evaluates them. Company is also moving one of its key safety teams from California to Texas. Again, an effort to sort of appeal to perhaps users in that part of the country. And Zuckerberg said that this is going to allow more bad things to make it onto the platform. He acknowledged that, but he said it will help with free expression.
And there you have it.
Open enrollment can be downright terrifying.
Okay, cool. You can be quiet.
HR.
You can hush. So I did have a couple of questions because inquisitive minds wander. Wander, like wander, but also wonder, well, what in fact is a social media fact checking and how does it work? Since we just got that explanation and those reasonings, and of course, all of these platforms have some sort of misinformation, real information, and all of these things because social media is in fact life now. And if you're not at least cognizant, aware of what is going on in this day and time, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Except get with the times because it's not going anywhere anytime soon. This is what it is. So, in the era of instant communication, and before I get started, this article that I'm reading you comes from techround.co.uk, and it was written by a Mrs. Gina Mars. I always cite my sources. But just know, the best artists do still. But I still cite my sources. So you can say what you want to say. In the era of instant and constant communication, social media has become a dominant source of information. But on the flip side of the coin, it is that the ease with which content can spread has also made platforms a breeding ground for misinformation. To combat this, social media companies have implemented fact-checking systems to verify the accuracy of the content that's shared. But how does fact-checking work and what role does it play in the broader effort to ensure accurate online discourse? And in a more philosophical sense, should social media platforms be able to completely disallow the spreading of certain information just because it's objectively, factually incorrect? Now, as much as we would like for that to happen, I say no. Because that infringes on the First Amendment. Even though they're not the government, the Fedi Gov, that infringes on the First Amendment. Now, it may be your platform, but if we're all people, now my thinking and my logic could be completely skewed, and you can pick it apart like a vulture on a dead carcass on Interstate I-64 East or 440 going north. Whatever. You can pick it apart if you want to. But in my honest opinion, you shouldn't be able to. Just let it rock. We're on your platforms for free. You're doing whatever you want to do with our information and our data. Let us spread what we want to spread. We up there using Facebook Marketplace. We're using Instagram. We're using Threads. We're using WhatsApp. And I'm not just coming for Facebook. I'm only talking about Facebook because Marcus Z is the one who said no more fact checkers. But fucked up content gonna be up here. So brace yourself. And I'm only hollering at and talking to Meta because Marcus Z's up there. But this for all of them. We up there. Y'all essentially can do what you want to do with our data. Even if we tell you we don't want you to do anything with our data, you can still do what you want to do. I don't want you to spread my data, but if it just so happen to get leaked, what the hell can I do about that? Guess be more careful next time. But I don't think that they should be able to block that. I don't. I think as this article, I haven't read the article yet, but I think that having people go out there and discredit misinformation is right. I think that's good. In a way, in a sense. But at the same time, I'm going to say this too, and then I'm going to keep going. Think of social media, YouTube, Facebook, X, as like how the music industry was back in the 1950s. And shout out to Coach Greg for this. Coach Greg opened my eyes up to this. CGA. The uncle I wish I had. He opened my eyes up to this. He was like, think of social media as how the music industry was back in the 1950s. It was nowhere as nearly regulated as it is today. Today, we're like, music industry, what is the music industry? Now, but that's after 70 years, 75 years, which a copyright falls off after what? If I remember correctly, 75 years. But that's after 70 years of that. This is just the beginning stages of social media still. So that's how I see it. Let's get back into this. The fact-checking process. Once again, this article is coming to us via techround.co.uk, and it was written by Miss Gina Mars. The fact-checking process on social media begins with identifying potentially misleading content. This can happen in various ways. Algorithms may flag posts with questionable claims. Users can report suspicious content, or third-party fact checkers might independently highlight concerns, which is fair. It's beyond fair. Once it's been flagged, the content enters a review process that involves analysis by professional fact checkers or automated tools designed to detect inaccuracies. Third-party fact-checking organizations often partner with social media platforms. These organizations use established methodologies to assess the truthfulness of claims. Their evaluations are based on credible sources, expert opinions, and contextual evidence. If a claim is found to be false, the fact checkers communicate their findings back to the platform. Once a piece of content is determined to be misleading, platforms typically take corrective actions. This may involve labeling the content with a disclaimer, reducing its visibility in users' feed, so shadow ban. Like I said, the majority of my favorite content creators are polarizing, controversial, uniquely intelligent, with a unique perspective and shadow banned. Like Thought Crimes, I got their mug right there. That's their mug right here. Let me show you. I've been listening to these guys for years. Thought Crimes. Uniquely intelligent. Black is outside. But so special. So special. And they're demonetized and they're blackballed and shadow banned. But I know for a fact, the majority of the things they talk about are true. Now, of course, they talk they shit. They funny. They so witty. So influential. Especially to me. So instrumental to what I've done. I think it was my first episode back in this setup. I had to give them props. I had to. I've been listening to them since 2016. Faithfully. Subscribe to them on Patreon. But they've been saying this for a long time. Now this is just out in the open. For instance, Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, often places warnings on posts that they've deemed inaccurate. These warnings inform users of the fact checkers' findings and provide links to verified information. So, along with these companies also having whatever type of messages, agendas that they want to have pushed out there, on the other side of them, or they've already said it, they said it, you have, hold on, let me go back up here. Let me see. And let me reread what Miss Mars is saying, which we know. Fact checking on social media begins with identifying potentially misleading content. This can happen in various ways. Algorithms may flag posts with questionable claims. Users, haters, can report suspicious content, or third-party fact checkers might independently highlight concern. So independent haters can independently be on some fuck shit and highlight their bitch ass concerns. And what I know and what I've observed and I've realized and I've also been told is, once you get to a certain status, is hate watching. So, understandably, you have the companies policing their platforms. If you want their money, then you got to go by their guidelines. It's just like any job. Social media is a job. Don't let anybody ever tell you different. Social media is a job. But then you have these, what is it again? Once you get to a certain status and stature, then what did Miss Mars put out? Miss Mars threw me a lob so I could put it in a way that we could all understand it. These independent haters do fuck shit to get your shit taken down. Straight up. All right, moving along. Balancing freedom of speech and accuracy. The challenge for social media companies lies in striking a balance between combating misinformation and respecting freedom of speech. Nobody wants to be in a situation in which an external arbiter of truth is making unilateral decisions over not only what is and isn't true, but what can be seen or read at all. Critics often argue that the fact-checking process can be opaque, with decisions sometimes perceived as arbitrary or politically biased. We already know that. That's what Mark said. That's what Marky Z said. For instance, recent controversies like Meta's approach to certain posts have drawn criticism from public figures like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who have accused the platform of inconsistency in enforcing its fact-checking policies. Remember, this is the 1950s of social media. That's what it is. It's the 1950s music industry equivalent to social media. Shout out to Coach Craig. Coach Craig, man. Coach Greg. But to address these concerns, many platforms rely on independent fact-checking organizations to ensure impartiality. So, independent fact fucking hating, pocket watching, pocket checking, need to go get some fucking hobbies, hate watching, got bullied when they was in high school, money not long, can't dress, can't buy style, but try to buy style. Need to get some business about yourself. Dirt crusted over on the inner workings of your ears. Crust building up on your nose. Hate watching haters. Fact checking who? You need to go fact check some more money in your pocket, boy. All right, so they're talking about fact checking process and outcomes aim to build public trust. I get that. But still, the subjective nature of determining what qualifies as misinformation remains a contentious issue. Let it all be out there. Let it all be out there. Let it all be out there. It's not going to be perfect. This is not the city of Atlantis. Okay? It's not a utopia. All right? It's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. There's no way for it to be perfect. What's perfect to me is not perfect to the next man or woman or in between. Non-binary. I don't understand all the different genders. I'm not fluid in that knowledge. I just know male, female. But anyways, the role of technology in social media fact checking. Technology obviously plays a crucial role in enhancing the efficiency of fact checking. I had to make sure my software is doing what it needs to do. Fact checking. All right. Machine learning algorithms and analyze patterns in content to identify potentially misleading information quickly. Natural language processing, NLP models, are used to access or assess the context and intent behind statements, while image recognition tools can verify the authenticity of visual content. However, automation isn't foolproof. Duh. Algorithms may fail to grasp nuances. Duh. Like satire or cultural differences. Duh. Which can easily lead to false positive or negatives. Duh. Because it ain't human. That's automation. AI is going to learn just like Megan Fox and subservience. It's going to learn. Duh. As a result, human oversight remains essential in the fact-checking process. Duh. Ensuring that context and intent are properly evaluated. Now, What if we had representatives from every single culture, subculture, working for Meta and the social media government overseeing everything? I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Because I haven't really thought through what would be a way to police social media or regulate social media in a better way. Because it's a lot of people who are shadow banned out here and don't have explanations. It's a lot of haters, a lot of ambitious weirdos who are messing people's bags up. They getting in the way because they skin itchy. They energy itchy. They whole aura is itchy. And they getting in the way. How about we fact check those people? Who's fact checking the fact checkers? All right, and to end it out, I had one more, but I'm just going to end it right here because I think this is a good place to end. What is the impact of fact checking on its users? And this is not an attack on Meta or Facebook or anything like that. Once again, just because Marky Z was the one who had the camera in his face and was speaking on getting rid of fact checkers, that's the only reason why Marky Z was brought up here on the stage and given his 15 minutes. Well, 2 minutes, 40 seconds. Less than that, probably. Social media fact checking aims to create a more informed digital environment by reducing the spread of false information. Platforms hope to foster healthier discussions and empower users to make decisions based on accurate data. Fact checking labels and educational campaigns also encourage users to critically evaluate the content they encounter, promoting media literacy in an increasing complex digital world. Despite its challenges, fact-checking on social media represents an important step toward combating misinformation as platforms refine their methods and integrate advanced technologies. The goal is to strike a balance between transparency, fairness, and accuracy, ensuring that truth prevails in the digital age. Now to add on to that. Number one, I just want to say that to these fact-checking haters, to these fact-checking fuckboys and girls,
That's so gay. It's so mysterious to me. Yeah.
oh yeah. Hold up, I do gotta let you know that
Her, she ain't never made a man wait 30 minutes.
Do I smell a whore? But nah, to add my 2 cents to that, coming up, writing research papers, things of that nature, we had different types of websites. The most common websites and the most trusted websites were the ones that had .org on it and .gov on it, as in .organization and .government. But the most common websites were .com, as in .community. Those websites could have misinformation, false information, real information on it, okay? Now, what was debriefed to us coming up is .gov and .fev, I said fev, .fed information or websites are the most trusted ones. You get your information from there, it's a reliable source. Now, I know and I understand that X, or Twitter, we're going to forever call it Twitter, IG, Facebook, these are all apps, but they're websites, just shortcuts to websites. Because you can go into the browser, you can go to a browser and still access these websites or these apps. They're really websites, but they're apps, shortcuts to websites. Just a reminder for myself, not for you. Maybe we need to actuate, I don't know if I used that word right. I'll just say we need to accent that theory and that approach. As far as information is concerned. I'm still working out the kinks. All I'm saying is have some discernment when you're looking at this information. You can't believe everything that you see, everything that you hear, everything that you read out here on the internet, just like real life. Hell, most of the people out here that you see, especially in places like Atlanta, you can't even believe what half of what you're seeing. You don't know what's what out here. So you need to be able to do some efficient discernment, fact checking on people. And I most definitely did not use discernment correctly in that sense of it, but it's the English language, and we just add on and add on and add on. Y'all know it's words out here that mean 32 different things out here, like shit or fuck. Shit can mean good and bad. Like that shit right there, her shit good. She got that shit. Or, man, that shit right there gonna be the death of me. That shit right there had me fumbling and tripping and stumbling and falling and drooling all over myself. Or fuck, you could be like, fuck. Like, fuck, I scuff my shoes. I scuff my 11s. My Concord 11s. Or, fuck. That was some, that was good. Anyways, lighters. It was a good episode. It was a great episode. I enjoyed today's episode. Today, just to recap on what we talked about today, word of the day, diverse. It's an adjective, means numbering more than one. Then we slid over to North Little Rock, Arkansas. A woman, she had a box. Some thieves came in her house, stole a box containing stillborn son's belongings, and then left the door wide open. Filthy work. Then took a trip over to Virginia Beach, or excuse me, not Virginia Beach, but Isle of Wight, which is outside of Suffolk, going towards Richmond. Man who the FBI found with 150 homemade IEDs. What's an IED? Improvised Explosive Device at his home. In the freezer and or by the freezer. I think it was in the freezer so his whole family could get it hidden in plain sight. Filthy work. We don't know what he's going to use it for. We don't know what he was fixing to do with that. And then lastly, excuse me, Marky Z setting up his iPhone. I think Marky Z uses an iPhone. I don't think he uses an Android. I think he's an iPhone user. He looked like an iPhone user. He recorded a video of himself saying that his company Meta is getting rid of fact checkers and that as a result, there will be a widespread, a liberal usage or a liberal amount of harmful content on the platforms. We learned a lot today. I learned a lot today. I don't know about you, but I learned a plethora of things today. So with that being said, lighters, forever, I'm the Senator Smooth and Rude, the Czar Style, Don Tesla. Stay envious, be safe, take your time, stay dangerous, and travel a light. Signal out.